Hello and welcome to another SportsLine episode of the new season. I'm Jacob Smolinski, and alongside of me is Brendan Rigney.
We have a great show full of your LaSalle sports, news, previews, and highlights.
So let's get started with some game recaps. Brendan?
It was an all-out battle on Saturday, September 13th, as the men's soccer team hosted their cross-city rivals, the Temple Owls. As if this game didn't already have enough drama, Mother Nature decided to make things more interesting with some heavy rain and chilly winds. LaSalle was able to strike first in just 38 seconds on a Matt Robinson shot. Junior Joe Farrell was then able to double up the lead for the Blue and Gold just 14 minutes later. The Owls struck back in the second half, however, netting 2 goals to tie it up in the 48th and the 84th minutes. Both teams powered through 2 overtime periods, but neither the Owls nor the Explorers could snag the victory.
And hoping to get their first win of the season, the men traveled to Baltimore, Maryland on Wednesday night to face off against Loyola. Through 90 minutes of play, neither squad could put up a point, sending the game into overtime. LaSalle was barely able to make a move. For within 20 seconds of extra time, Loyola secured the win off a rebounded shot. Most of the game was played in the midfield, however, as both goalies only had to make three shots during the 90-plus minutes of play.
The women's soccer team managed to avoid the rain this weekend and finished their home stand against Princeton University in the James Madison Dukes. On Friday, September 12th, the Explorers played the Tigers under the lights and could not break the tie. After trailing 1-0, LaSalle tacked on 2 goals from freshman Kristen Hoxted and senior standout Kelsey Haycock. The Tigers tied the game at 2 in the 79th minute, which signified the end of either team holding momentum. Neither goalkeepers let anything by them after that. The ladies took the field again on Sunday against James Madison. Here's Jake's coverage of the exciting matchup.
After a number of pivotal wins against nationally ranked squads, the LaSalle women's soccer team added another notch to their belt as they trumped James Madison on Sunday, September 14th. With the Dukes coming up from Virginia, the number 1 team in the Mid-Atlantic Conference was set to roll over the Explorers from the start. However, from the kickoff, the 2 squads fell into an immediate deadlock with defenses trading off steals and throw-ins. The first half ended without a score, and the 2 teams headed into the second ready to adjust. That adjustment took place right at the whistle blow for the Explorers as Kelsey Haycock charged her way through the Dukes' backline 17 seconds in to score blitzkrieg style. James Madison persistently tried to answer, but LaSalle goalie Jessica Wiggins was a steel curtain as she had 9 saves on the day. Then, in the 58th minute, Danielle Marks rebounded off of Jessica Kagan in JMU territory for the would-be game-winning goal. LaSalle almost locked out the Duke defense until the end of the game, but James Madison did manage to slip one by Wiggins. But as regulation play came to a close, LaSalle held control over the ball and managed to score a momentous 2-1 win over the 24th nationally ranked James Madison team. SportsLine got the chance to talk to Coach Paul Royal postgame, and he had quite an enthusiastic response for another solid win from the LaSalle squad.
Well, I mean, I think the confidence of the kids, our leadership has really been consistent all season. And they were real quiet at halftime, but, I think they had a real good focus. And a lot of urgency when they did go in to make a difference. And I think it was like 17 seconds when we scored, so, real dynamic. And we have the attack that we can score at the drop of a dime. Obviously a brilliant service from Kristen Hogstad to Kelsey Haycock. And we needed that momentum boost. I thought they had the better of the half in the first half, and I thought we had the better of the play in the second half. We're a difficult team to play against, and a lot of that is a testament to our back line.
And according to Royal, this is going to be an extremely competitive year for the Explorers.
Well, we went after a nationally competitive schedule. We wanted to make sure that we have a backup plan if we get to the A10 final and play in a shootout or an overtime. We wanted to make sure that we have the schedule, the strength of schedule to prepare us for an at-large bid. And a win like today is huge because this JMU team beat a Wake Forest team that's been nationally ranked. JMU 2 weeks ago was nationally ranked. So this is a huge win for the program. I think it'll definitely springboard us into another big test next weekend against West Virginia.
Moving from the field to the course, the LaSalle men's cross-country team was repping Explorers Perseverance Friday during the Friends Big 5 Invitational at the Belmont Plateau. The veteran Explorer team came in 2nd place overall, with 4 runners finishing in the top 20. Standout Nico Greco paced the race for the boys and finished with an outstanding time of 18 minutes and 47 seconds, good for 8th place. Not far behind was Ben Pershaw, who finished with a time of 19 minutes and 3 seconds, coming in 15th place. The team was beat out by the Penn Quakers, who finished with runners in the top 7 places.
And the women's team competed at the same invitational, participating in the 4K. The Explorers finished 2nd overall with 55, beating out city rivals St. Joe's and Temple. Freshman Megan Connell led the way for the Explorers as she crossed the finish line 6th, with a time of 14:35. Close behind were her classmates, Morgan Zeckley and Emily Ward, who finished one behind the other in 8th and 9th place. Also finishing the top 20 were Rebecca Scardelletti. All their solid performances were Kaylee McNally, Molly Mickle, and Kaylee Solano.
Another team that clocked some serious mileage this weekend was the field hockey team. The ladies spent most of the Saturday afternoon running up and back on the field in their 100-minute-long game. That is a long time. We sent it over to Cody Barr, who was able to catch the first half before the rain started to interfere.
Coming off their first win of the 2014 campaign, the field hockey team looked to overcome the Rider Broncs. After back-and-forth play for the majority of the first half, Rider was able to penetrate the Explorer defense just before the 19-minute mark. The Explorers did not surrender easily. They withheld Rider for the remainder of the 16 minutes and entered halftime trailing by only 1 goal. Sophomore keeper Rachel Hartman recorded 5 saves in the half. Unfortunately, the weather interceded and cut our coverage short.
And the second half was far more interesting than the first, as the Explorers were able to overcome a 2-goal deficit within the final 15 minutes of regulation. After a LaSalle timeout, Juliana Carfagno connected on an assist from rookie Eileen Zoel to prevent the shutout. Following suit was Sophie Lazowski, who notched her first collegiate goal, which sent the Explorers and Rider into overtime. After 15 minutes of 7v7 action, there still was no winner. It wasn't until the final seconds of the second overtime period that LaSalle secured the victory. Senior Olivia Lemon took matters into her own hands on a penalty corner as she drew the goalie from position and lifted the ball into the cage. Recording the win in goal for the Explorers was Rachel Hartman, who saved 14 shots, boosting her season total to over 40.
Hoping to get a better grasp on the excitement that's buzzing about the field hockey team, we invited senior captain Maddy Tettelbach into the studio to sit down and talk about how they're peaking at the perfect moment. Take a look.
Hi, I'm Cody Barr, and I'm sitting down here with Maddy Tettelbach of the field hockey team. Welcome, Maddy, to SportsLine.
Thank you for having me.
So we have to start off talking about your last game against Rider. It was your second home game, your second win, but it was a huge win because you won in overtime. Can you talk a little bit about how exciting that game was?
That was one of the most exciting games that I've been a part of my 4 years. We went into double overtime, and my roommate, Liv Lehman, another senior on the team, actually scored off a corner in the last 25 seconds. The weather was god-awful. It was pouring rain the whole time, a little cold, but we used that as like good energy and like good way to pump us up to get us through that and, you know, keep going through the full 70 minutes and then 2 full overtimes.
Now, is it hard with field hockey playing in the rain because you have to hold onto your stick? Is it hard? Is it like worrisome, like you're gonna just swing and it's gonna fly?
Oh my gosh, yes. The stick is so slippery, and especially when the rain, you're soaking wet, you can't like wipe it on your kilt or jersey or anything, so you're just, you know, having to really concentrate on like being composed and staying calm and, you know, not getting too frantic.
So for overtime in field hockey, how does that work? Is it like you play extra minutes? Is there less people on the field? How does that work out?
So it's 15 minutes per overtime, and it is golden rule, so the first team to score wins the game. It is 7v7, so unlike having 10 players on the field and then 1 goalie, there's 6 of us and then a goalie, and it is very, very tiring. You're just making full 100 yard sprints the whole time.
I can imagine. So before this game, you had your first home win, you had your first win of the season against Villanova. How big was it to score against Villanova and to beat Villanova because it's such a huge Philly rivalry?
It is a really big intercity rival. They are not in our conference, unfortunately, but that was such a big win because the 4 years I've been here, we've never beat Nova before, and it's always been a really intense, tough game. I can remember playing at their football stadium, and it was such a close game, but we ended up losing. So finally winning, and then on our home field, which is a great feeling.
So speaking of Villanova, I know that they're a big long ball team. They have a reputation. What does that mean, and how do you kind of defend against a team that just whacks the ball down the field?
So their backs tend to just big ball it up, as you said. So that what we try and do is like set up our press early, get back, face the ball, recover, and be down and ready with our sticks to intercept those passes and step up win those 50-50 balls against the other team.
Right. So looking back before those 2 games, you had 3 losses. What kind of made those losses happen? Was it like because it's the beginning of the season, you're not really clicking yet as a team, or was it just, you know, some miscommunication? Like what led to those 3 losses and then the huge turnaround to these 2 huge wins?
We have a very young team. We only have 7 total upperclassmen between the seniors and juniors, and then we have 9 freshmen. So we were a little bit on the inexperienced side, and having those, you know, freshmen start and play a lot of the games was a little hard to have them play on the same level as some of us, but they have done a great job, and they've took those 3 games, learned from it, gained experience, and now it's really starting to come through and show, you know, the maturity that they have on the field and how well we all just come together as a team. And, you know, the first games are a little hard to get out, you know, coming as a new team together, playing as a unit and meshing takes a while, so we're really starting to come together.
Now, is it hard as a captain and as a senior leader to have to be a leader for 9 freshmen? Normally, you know, you have to but you have 3 freshmen or 4 freshmen, and it's a smaller group and you can really get to know them better. Is it harder as a senior trying to really get to know these 9 individuals?
It is. It's a little overwhelming because there's only 3 of us seniors and then 2 captains with the 9 younger girls. But we lead by example, and us 3 seniors are really close, and we all get along very well, so we're all on the same page, and we just keep up the positive attitude, and the freshmen seem to follow along with it really well.
Is there a lot of team bonding now? Do you guys like go to dinners together just so you have that kind of team mentality?
Yes, all preseason, every single meal we ate together. We would do movie nights, we did preseason buddy gifts, we would go out to dinner like Chipotle together and stuff, and just that's how we would like see each other off the field, you know, get to know our like personalities and stuff.
So now looking ahead, you have your first conference game coming up on Sunday, and it's against Davidson. Davidson's new to the A10, so is it a little nerve-wracking to start conference play with somebody that you've never seen before on the field?
Yes, we're a little uneasy about it. I don't really know much about them. We will have a film session to learn a lot, but you know, it's just a good way to come out fresh, you know, just a new start to the A10s, you know, coming out with a team that we've never played before, so it'll be a good experience. Is
it weird playing A10 games so early? Because I know in the past it's normally towards the end of the year. Is it weird playing them in September?
It's so weird. Usually it's like, all right, well this is another game that'll prepare us for the A10s at the end of the season, and now it's like, we already have an A10 game, and it's in September. Yeah. I do like it better, you know, because we tend to do really well all throughout the season, so I'd rather, you know, get those games in early.
Right. So now, a little bit more on the personal side. What are your personal goals for the season?
To win, to go to A10s. We went to A10s my freshman year, and that was the first time in a while. So started out with a bang, and I'd rather end with a bang. So
I understand. Yeah. Do you have any weird rituals before you go out on the field, like little superstitions you do?
Whenever we line up for the games, we always put our sticks in a certain order. We have certain handshakes between a couple of us on the team. Juliana Carvagno and I have a nice little handshake. And then before every game during warm-up, a different person on the team shares a quote, and there's something inspiring to get us
That's
pumped.
Really cool.
Yeah.
Now I know, because I go and I film the games and I write for Field Hockey for the Collegian, that you have a very interesting warm-up mix. I know I was listening and I heard like Lizzie McGuire fade into like little hip-hop. Who makes that mix, and is it available for other people, because it's pretty awesome?
We have a lot of different people's personalities and favorite genres of music on there. It was between us seniors and a couple of juniors that worked on it, so it was all of our favorites mixed in. You got some Mulan and Disney, and then we have some Chris Brown on there, so it's just something that we all collectively put together, you know, to get us pumped.
So our final question, we like to ask, speaking of Mulan, what is your favorite Disney movie?
Definitely The Lion King.
Lion King.
Definitely The Lion King.
That's typically the favorite. I'm glad you said it. It's my favorite, but good choice. But thank you for coming and swinging by. It's been great talking to you. That does it for this week's interview segment on SportsLine. Check you later.
Thanks, Cody. We're going to take a quick break, but don't leave us just yet. Madison Elliott will be joining us to explore some headlines. Al-Malik dishes out this week's marquee matchup, so please stay tuned.
A diagnosis of breast cancer changes your life forever.
She told me absolutely in shock.
But you need to know that you're not alone. There are teams of medical professionals, support groups, and therapists, and those who can help you plan for life after cancer. Before you undergo surgery for breast cancer, get the facts. Make sure you know your breast reconstruction options. For more information, visit broaddayusa.org.
Men's tennis opened up their fall season in Sparkle, New York this past week, taking on the St. Thomas Aquinas Spartans. The team has a handful of experienced seniors that are hoping to leave their mark, including veteran standouts Deshaun Fennell and Dale Fetterman. Unfortunately, the Explorers lost 3-6 against the Aquinas team. This marks the first time since 2006, that the Explorers opened the year with a loss.
On Tuesday, September 16th, however, LaSalle turned things around and beat out the University of Arts and Sciences 5-2 on the home courts. LaSalle currently hold a 4-0 record against the Devils since 2010. Solid performances by Fennell and Fetterman helped lead the Explorers to victory. Also dominant was sophomore Mark Robinson.
On Friday, September 12th, the women's volleyball team made the trek up to Russell, New York for the Iona tournament. The Explorers kicked off the weekend against the Hartford Hawks, looking for their second consecutive win. In the first set, the two teams battled closely for a bit until the Explorers pulled away quickly and won the set 25-16. In the second set, the Hawks narrowly held on after a back-and-forth battle, winning 26-24. Hartford would continue to control the game, winning set 3, 25-17, and the fourth set, 25-16. Freshman Brianna Davis was fantastic all game long at the libero position, racking up a career-high 29 digs. Kelly Perillo added 14 kills, while Jennifer Whelan added 10 of her own.
And on Saturday the 13th, the Explorers had two teams to take care of. In the morning, the Blue and Gold battled the Bryant University Bulldogs, and this match was arguably the most exciting of the tournament. LaSalle took sets 1 and 2 by slim margins, winning 27-25 and 25-23 respectively. The Bulldogs countered strongly in the next 2 sets, winning them each by less than 5 points and knotting the match up at 2 sets apiece. In the winner-take-all third set, the Explorers fought hard and bounced back to win the set 15-13 and take the win. 4 players had double-digit kills for LaSalle in the match: Kelly Perillo, Laura Kulmer, Michelle Healy, and Brianna Davis.
In the evening, the Explorers hoped to retain that fire that they captured earlier that day in their final match of the tournament against the host team, the Iona Gales. The first 2 sets were once again difficult for the Blue and Gold, but they managed to hang on, winning 25-23 and 26-24. The Gales put up a fight in set 3, capturing a victory there 25-20. The fourth set was easily the most exciting individual set of this whole tournament, as was LaSalle's longest set of the entire season. The Explorers managed to pick up a victory in the set 36-34 and a match victory as well. Tying for first place in the tournament, Michelle Healy and Brianna Davis earned all-tournament team honors.
And after a few days off, the volleyball team traveled up to the Empire State once again, this time to Queens in order to take on St. John's Red Storm in a match that was televised on ESPN3. Looking to increase their winning streak to 3 games, which would have been their longest streak of the season, the Explorers battled hard in each set to lose only by a slim margin each time. A loss in straight sets was the final result for the Explorers, losing by 2 points in sets 1 and 3, and 3 points in set 2. Head coach Caitlin Rumgala returned to her alma mater for this matchup and was still pleased with their team's performance, even in the loss. Kelly Perillo led the team with 10 kills, while Michelle Healy led the assists with 28.
Well, that does it for this week's game recaps. Stick around as Madison Elliott joins us after the break.
They said I would die.
My doctor told me I had ALS.
They said I wouldn't live to see my kids grow up.
But their doctors were wrong. Multifocal motor neuropathy, referred to as MMN, is a rare disorder that progressively weakens muscles in the extremities and is often mistaken for other serious neuropathies, as well as the ultimately fatal condition known as ALS or Lou Gehrig's disease. But unlike those disorders, MMN affects only lower motor nerves and has no sensory involvement. Symptoms tend to be asymmetric and characterized by weakness, cramping, twitching, or muscle atrophy, usually beginning in the hands. Disease progression depends on the length of time the patient remains without the correct MMN diagnosis. With early diagnosis and treatment, most MMN patients continue doing the things they enjoy.
Cooking.
Gardening.
Spending time with my family.
For more information, please visit these websites.
Welcome back. We're going to send it over now to Madison Elliott, who joins us for this week's edition of Exploring Headlines. Take it away, Madison.
Thanks, Brendan. Coming off a stellar week of field hockey, LaSalle Explorers Rachel Hartman and Sophie Lazowski have earned their weekly A10 honors. The sophomore Hartman earned the Atlantic 10 Player of the Week award after dominant performances against Rider and Villanova, notching 20 saves between these two games. Lazowski, a freshman who assisted on the game winner against Villanova, earned Rookie of the Week honors. For both, these are the first time the ladies earned such honors. The rookie field hockey star would be given another honor later this week, as Lazowski earned ECAC Rookie of the Week on top of her assist against Villanova. The freshman player also helped the defense hold the Wildcats to 4 shots in the second half, while getting her first goal as a collegiate athlete in LaSalle double overtime win against Rider. Lazowski will look to keep up the momentum going into the next few games. We hope to hear her name called more and more often. Someone who is no stranger to weekly accolades would be senior soccer player Kelsey Haycock, who has been named A10 Player of the Week for the 8th time in her career. The graduate to be recorded 5 points last week alone, 2 of which were goals in both games against Princeton and James Madison. Haycock now sits only 2 points away from tying the LaSalle women's soccer all-time record. Congratulations once again to Kelsey. Moving over to the coaching and management side of sports, recent Clarion University graduate Morgan Oberlander has been named assistant coach for the swimming and diving team. A 3-time All-American swimmer, Oberlander will join Coach Matt Nunnally to coach a swimming team that surprised the A10 and continued to show plenty of potential last season. She will work towards her master's in education here at LaSalle. And finally, Gina Catanzariti joins LaSalle as the new director of women's basketball operations. A former player at Rowan University, where she scored over 1,000 points during 3 years of starting, she would later join the staff at Wagner, handling everything from player development to scouting reports. At her previous stint, Catanzariti had a huge hand in Wagner's first NEC tournament appearance after a 4-year absence. With a resume such as this, it's no wonder why head coach Jeff Williams appointed her. Back to you, Brendan.
Well, thanks for joining us, Madison. We have another quick break coming up, but stick around because Nay is going to make her long-awaited SportsLine debut in this week's Marquee matchup. Stay tuned.
Hungry for LaSalle TV? Check us out on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook. Check out our Twitter. And continue watching LaSalle TV.
Welcome to another edition of Marquee Matchup. I'm Nay Al-Malik. Capturing our attention for the second week in a row is the women's soccer team. At 3 p.m. on Sunday, September 21st, they will go head-to-head with the Temple Owls at McCarthy Stadium. The City 6 matchup is sure to draw large crowds at LaSalle, has held the title of A10 for 2 seasons, and Temple, they're undefeated so far on the season. And who doesn't love the Temple-LaSalle rivalry? Let's start it off by looking at some key players who we think will stand out this Sunday. Forward Casey Haycock is one team member who refuses to be forgotten. Last season, she highlighted the roster due to her ending season with 41 points. So far this season, Kelsey has already gained 12 points and leads the team in assists. The veteran standout has been named A10 Player of the Week 8 times in her career this past week. So we're sure she will be one big target this season. However, if Haycock can overcome the added pressure and probably double coverage, LaSalle should be in the clear. Another player to keep an eye out for is our goalkeeper, Jessica Wiggins. The senior has recorded almost 700 minutes in goal so far this season. She's made 43 saves, but unfortunately she lacks just a little consistency in the net, as LaSalle has yet to win 2 games in a row. With Temple's aggressive offense, Wiggins is going to be called on to make sure that she saves any difficulties out there on the field.
and she can't lose an ounce of energy. This matchup is going to be a huge test for the goalkeeper, but we're hoping she comes out on top to record all of our wins. Now let's take a look at some of the key facts to the game. The Explorers so far this season fall behind their opponents in corner kick opportunities. Opponents have secured 36 attempts, while LaSalle only has 23 on record. While corner kicks don't necessarily lead to difficulty in goals, they aid the team in kicking and maintaining momentum in their offensive half by capitalizing and highlighting their opponent's mistakes. Keeping with the offense, so far this season, the Explorers have yet to score in the first half. All 10 of their goals have been scored in the later minutes of regulation. If LaSalle has their sights on another A-10 title this year, they're going to need to start striking first and fast. This is especially important in the game against Temple because the Owls are threatening from the get-go. They play both halves with full intensity as they have scored 7 goals in the first half and 7 in the second of play so far this season. Well, that does it for this week's Marquee matchup. Keep it here for more LaSalle sports news and be sure to watch next week's coverage of the exciting matchup.
Welcome back. If you can't make it out to see this week's Marquee matchup, make sure to tune in next week for our coverage of that game. Be sure to keep up with us on this weekend's other events by following us on Twitter at SportsLine LTV. We post game updates and sneak peeks into the upcoming show.
Also, check us out at facebook.com/LaSalleTV. We welcome you to send us your thoughts and suggestions about the show on either website.
For Jake, Madison, and our entire SportsLine team, I'm Brendan Rigney. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you at the game.